Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Vic Alon riding shotgun for the remainder of the show. He'll also ride shotgun tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, the big dog Shane Lake will join me on the program. And I decided to clear a full hour with him, just like I did with Victor, because we got a lot to catch up on and talk about. You a fan of the Boston Celtics? Well, it doesn't matter which team you choose to win your games. You can support them with Fanatics, the ultimate place for gear and apparel. Log on to snowmanmultimedia.com/Fanatics and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams and players. Visit snowmanmultimedia.com/Fanatics and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Speaking of Fanatics, let's go to the Fanatics feedback zone. Big dog Shane Lake said, "Hey, I'm a Boston fan. Come on now." Yeah, I know that. And I can't wait to have you on tomorrow. I really, really appreciate it. He says that's straight up hate with my conversation about Joel Embiid, and it's a very uncomfortable conversation that JJ and I had yesterday. I love you too, brother. I mean it. 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 Mark Jackson dancing and gyrating after getting a foul called him or making a key basket against Philadelphia in 1989. Dirk Nowitzki, that fadeaway, one-handed, one-legged shot. Can't do nothing against that. Can't do nothing against the skyhook or Michael's fadeaway either. 41 after the hour. One more piece of business, and we're going to have even more fun. Let's go to North Carolina. We are the only sports show in the world that will talk about number one Wake Forest baseball, about women's basketball, and all the other stuff that the main shows don't want to hit because they're too scared. This is the guy that points us out, and this is the guy that helps us. Let's go to North Carolina. Jay Spivey now joins us on the Invader Coffee guest line. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
All right.
Okay, where do we begin? I know where we begin. Caitlin Clark.
Who? Never heard of her before.
Let me explain that. Let me explain that inside joke. There's a certain person that Jay and I both hate. I'm sorry, that's a strong word.
Oh no.
Yeah. I know. But I gotta set it up. Jay and I were texting back and forth when Caitlin Clark set the record, being the all-time NCAA scorer in any division, and we pointed out a few people in North Carolina that won't have the nuts to talk about her. And I said, we will. We talk women's basketball all the time here. So
well, I mean, honestly, I just truly don't get the hate that these people's. I'm not even talking about just them. I have a real good friend who will not watch her at all and just blast her. And he said she's not even set any record. I was like, I don't even care about the records are irrelevant to me. Look what she's done for college basketball. Look what she's done for pop culture. Look what she's done for women's sports. Look what she's done for little girls, little boys. Who cares?
Yep, absolutely.
And to me, you know, we all love men's college basketball. I'm sure we'll all get down to it in a couple weeks when we get to the tournament. But to me, this season has been extremely boring. Caitlin Clark has made this a rather boring men's season into something fun because it's must-see TV. I have planned my entire schedule around watching her play.
Same.
I don't care what network it is.
I plan my entire schedule not only to watch her play, but to do alternative play-by-play for it, which is what I'm going to do for the Women's Big Ten tournament. For those who don't have access to BTN or to Peacock, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to broadcast it. So let me bring up a point that JJ and I talked about, and Jay, you and I talked about. Why won't the people who do alternative play-by-play, and I know you've seen a bunch of them on the internet, why won't they acknowledge that this is the future, and why won't they cover women's basketball? Talk to me.
Well, look, I mean, at least the last 2 years, I mean, I'm really going back to UConn. I mean, how popular they were, all those really good UConn teams.
Yep.
Them, you got South Carolina, we got LSU, we got, I mean, team after team after team. We got Caitlin Clark now. I mean, I don't think Iowa's going to win a national championship. I don't think the surrounding parts around her are good enough to win. But, But still, I mean, I saw a story today where Iowa games have broken 6 different networks' TV ratings.
Yep.
6.
6 of them. Yep. 6 of them.
So why wouldn't you want to have them on? And you know it's killing ESPN that they can't show Big Ten games because of the new contract. So, but you know they're going to, as soon as the tournament starts, they're going to show every Iowa game by itself. You just watch.
On all the networks.
Every game, because ESPN owns women's
and listen, the entire tournament, ESPN holds the exclusive rights to the women's national tournament. But it's going to kill them that they can't show the Big Ten tournament, as you said, Jay, because of the new contract. Watch this: Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, a couple of others. I can't remember the young lady from South Carolina, but South Carolina alone, they're going to show every single game on every single on the ESPN family of networks. And if they don't, they're going to miss out on a whole bunch of money.
Well, you know, normally what they do, especially the first weekend, they'll show all the games together.
Yes.
There's no way they're going to do that with Iowa.
No
way.
No, they're not.
They're not going to put 4 games on at the same time. There's no way.
Not a chance. Not a chance. And the crazy part about it is, Jay, they have the exclusive rights. And as you and I have talked about, Victor, you too, and many others, they're going to screw it up again.
Oh yeah,
they're going to screw it up.
They're going to overthink it. They're going to mess it up.
You know why? You know why they're going to screw it up? It's something I had to learn when I was building my network. Too many hands in the pie. Too many networks at once.
Well, that's what they did yesterday.
Oh my!
Just to be part of it, they had game day there yesterday. They couldn't show the game because it was on Fox.
Right.
But they were there for game day.
They were there for game day. Why don't ESPN get a piece of the pie when it comes to women's Big Ten basketball? I got to ask you that.
Well, they don't have the rights to it. It's done. It's on Fox, CBS, Peacock, NBC, and FS1 for the foreseeable future. And I mean, that Big Ten contract they just signed last. Well, I guess it was fall before last.
Right.
Is, I believe, the most lucrative contract in college sports history.
Yep.
And ESPN opted to go with the SEC rather than the Big Ten.
Oops. And that hurt them. It's going to be all right with football, but it's going to kill them. It's going to kill them for now.
It's going to kill them with hoops.
I mean, and then the other thing is they can't show don't forget they can't show Big Ten football either.
Right. I mean, it's all about with CBS and with ESPN. It's all about the SEC, and the Big Ten's kind of left out in the cold with football.
And they can't. It's been for this for a while. They hadn't even show the Michigan Ohio State game the last couple of years.
Oh my gosh.
And I believe is it Ohio State playing Texas this year?
I believe
Michigan playing Texas this year. I forgot.
One of those two.
No, whenever it's at the Big Ten side, ESPN won't be able to show it.
Nope.
Right.
Nope. They will not. Jay Spivey joining us here on the program. We got a myriad of stuff that we're talking about, and let's pay some homage to, and I hate saying this because I loved watching him, the late Chris Mortensen.
Oh my goodness.
That hurt me because I remember when he came aboard ESPN in 1991, and he was every bit a professional, and from a distance, every bit as a friend to all of us.
Well, you know, as you all know, I'm a sports reporter, and I don't proclaim to be anywhere near to the level he is.
Right.
But he's got war after war after war after war. When he was with mostly with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, but he was with the National, which was the sports only section. than his local paper in California.
Yeah.
But, I know he'd been sick, and he, frankly, because of all the chemo he had and everything else, he looked just so much older than he really was.
Yeah.
But he kept working through it, and you can't help but praise the guy for doing that. But it killed me yesterday. I mean, no pun intended, yesterday to see that he died because of how much he meant to so many people. And I beg you, I'm not the biggest Adam Schefter fan, other than I know he works his tail off. If you get a chance, just pay attention to the obituary he had on Sports Center last night that he did for him. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It really is well done. And Adam Schefter put a lot of effort into it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to touch on something.
One other thing is, like I said, he's a sports star, and in many ways he's a trailblazer because so many sports reporters now are on the TV side, lending their expertise to whatever sport they cover.
Yeah.
And because of the downfall of print journalism, unfortunately, which has killed me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And back then in the early 90s, nobody even thought about having a journalist on TV.
No. No one wanted to think about it.
In many ways, I mean, he was pre-Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser on PTI because, I mean, there's no need to underestimate what they've done for sports journalism and TV in general as well.
Right.
I mean, PTI has changed TV.
Mm-hmm. It has. And the advent of the internet has changed television as well, because now you got a whole bunch of people and I want to hit this with you, Jay, because we talked about it, and Victor, you and I talked about it. You got a whole bunch of people right now with the advent of YouTube and the advent of social media, and Victor said it earlier, that can put their opinions out there and not give a damn about any backlash. Okay.
Per example was and this is a little bit off topic, but I remember Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe were having a conversation about this when Ice Cube was having conversations with the Trump administration about how to help advance Black people.
Yep.
And people were like calling him a sellout and everything. And Busta Rhymes said, it's different from how it was back in the day, because when you said something out of pocket, you had to back it up once you stepped outside.
Absolutely.
Or you had to see that person and you had to either back it up or apologize. Now with the advent of social media, it's not like that. You can say all the foul, horrific things to anybody you want. And because you're under anonymity, nothing happens. You gain there's no repercussions for what you do.
Man, here's one thing I really want to touch, and Jay, you keep bringing it to my attention. I know the radio voice of Wake Forest baseball, very different of mine, Ty Collins. Why won't the big networks and even locally cover them? They're the number one baseball team in the country right now. They were preseason number one. They're number one right now. They had a clash with UNCG, and UNCG beat them. And yet Wake Forest is still sitting at the top of the rankings. And besides us, no one else will talk about it. Why?
Well, I'm a Wake fan, and I try to keep that out of my most people know I root for Wake, but I try to keep that out of public knowledge.
Right.
But my dad, who got me to be a Wake fan since the time I can remember, probably 2 years old or even younger than that. And my dad had a saying, about Wake. Back then it was a small school, and a really small school. It's still a small school. It's like, not even 4,000 students. And my dad had this saying, little old Wake Forest. And he would call them Loaf. LOFA. LOWF. Little old Wake Forest. And there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, you look, Wake's never on TV and anything. I mean, they are, but on smaller networks.
Yep.
They are, and they got to be good in football for a while, and got to be on some major networks. But for the most part, they're never on.
Right.
Because they have no alumni base around this area.
Yeah, I've only seen like maybe one or two Wake Forest games, and that was on Hulu when they would do like a lot of college baseball games on Hulu. But that was about it.
I mean, you can watch them; they're on ESPN Plus every game, but they're never on real big TV.
Right.
I mean, they don't have the maximum amount of eyes.
I mean, assuming it doesn't rain tomorrow afternoon, they're supposed to play Georgetown tomorrow, which will be on ESPN Plus. But that's not exactly the biggest platform in the world,
right?
No, and they don't work to grow that part of it. I mean, for God's sake, they put it behind a paywall.
Mm-hmm.
They put ESPN Plus behind a paywall, and some of the best games in baseball they put behind that paywall. Right. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. Their main network, which is part of cable, which you got to pay for, and then ESPN Plus, which I subscribed to after I cut the cord last summer.
Mm-hmm.
I cut the cord.
If you want, I mean, you go. If you really want, you watch college baseball. You watch hundreds of games a week.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of games a week.
Easy. And I listen.
Most Division I teams are playing about 60 regular season games, roughly.
Right.
So I mean, we're not quite a month into the season yet, and the way the ACC is, the conference play actually starts this weekend. Wake's playing Duke here in Winston-Salem. I mean, conference play already starts this weekend, so it's already here.
Yep. Speaking of the ACC, why? I know we talked about this already, but I got to have another clear understanding because a whole lot's happened in my life since then. Why did they move the ACC tournament?
Or you talking from Sunday to Saturday?
Yep. I'm talking about location. I'm talking about the location.
Listen, I've been to 4 different sites for the ACC tournament. I've been to Greensboro, I've been to Charlotte, I've been to Atlanta, and I've been to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'll fully admit I live about 25 minutes from Greensboro.
Right.
So it's an easy drive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's far and away the best in Greensboro. It's not even close.
It's not.
But when Jim Phillips was hired as the new commissioner of the conference, when he came down from Northwestern, he immediately moved the ACC headquarters to Charlotte, which was stupid.
Very
stupid. He immediately said we were going to have almost everything played in Charlotte, come hell or high water. And you look, it's only going to be in Greensboro like twice in the next 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's going to be in Washington this year. The conference already sucks enough this year. I don't care what people say. The conference sucks this year.
It does. It sucks. Say it again.
Who's going to go see these teams playing in Washington, D.C.?
It's trash.
Okay, who's going to want to? I think I want to say 1 year it was in Brooklyn. Am I wrong?
It's been in Brooklyn several years.
Thank you. I thought. I thought
it's been there like 3 or 4 years.
I thought my mind was playing.
No, you're not. That's not good. No.
I think the year that I had my cancer surgery, 22, it was in Brooklyn.
I believe that's right.
I believe 2 years ago it was in Brooklyn. What the hell is wrong with that picture? Who's going to want to travel? Who in ACC?
This came about because people like Jim Boeheim whined that it was in Greensboro every year. Well, guess what? There are 4 teams in the ACC from one state. What do you think is going to happen?
Right.
And I've been to 2 ACC tournaments myself, 1994 and 1995. 1995 was the best one for me.
Oh, well, that was my favorite too. I was
1995, and I had a chance. Randolph Childress, Tim Duncan, Dean. I think Dean Smith was still coaching at the time.
He was
Dean
there.
Smith.
He was there.
Dave Odom, Joe Smith from Maryland. Man,
I remember this vividly.
Yep.
The semifinals that year had 4 of the top 10 teams in the country playing that year.
Yep.
4.
You
would never see that now the way this conference is.
North Carolina, I want to say 3 of them were North Carolina, Maryland, and Wake Forest.
And Clemson was the other one, I believe.
I think it was Clemson. Man,
I take that back. Virginia was one.
Virginia. There you go. Virginia. Junior Burroughs. Junior Burroughs was on that team. Man.
And Wake was the number 1 seed that year.
Wake was the number 1 seed. Man, when I saw the pairings, I was actually working for the Coliseum that year, 1995. I saw the pairings, and I told my boss, look, you're going to have to fire me after this tournament. She laughs and says, why? I said, because I'm going against company rules, and I'm going to find every way possible to watch this tournament. You know what she did? She set it up where I could and still have a chance to work the Coliseum. I met some of the crew from ESPN that year, and 23. I mean, even for the 8-9 matchup, for the 8-9 matchup that year, Cherokee Parks and Duke, I believe, were the 8th seed that year. We're talking about 1995.
Duke was horrible that year. Horrible. That was the year Krzyzewski left early that year.
Yep. Anybody remember the classic from February 2nd of 95 at Cameron Indoor Stadium?
That's correct.
She set up a room where when we have a break, we can go up and watch the tournament. I'm like, sweet. And let me be real. I'm a sports junkie. I snuck up there every chance I got to watch the tournament. I snuck up there every chance I got to watch the tournament.
I don't know how. That was the first ACC tournament I had ever been to. I don't know how the heck I got tickets for it, but I did. I did, and I will never forget it. And of course, I was lucky enough to see my team win the championship, and I still don't believe it happened, but it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually get emotional, but I got very emotional that day. I sitting up there watching. I was like, I cannot believe Wake Forest just won the ACC championship.
I damn near was on press row that Sunday. I damn near was on.
And if you remember correctly, that the championship game was phenomenal.
Oh my God, was it ever? The championship game, for me, blew away the NCAA tournament. The only game in the NCAA tournament that I can compare to the ACC championship was the national championship in Seattle.
And now you'll never get that because neither the NBA nor the NCAA will make any rules about one and dones and all the other rules that are going around college basketball. They will not take a stand.
They will not.
And that's why women's basketball is more exciting than men's basketball right now.
And needs to stay, and the excitement level needs to grow for women's basketball. The new one, Juju Watkins from USC.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Juju Watkins from USC will step into the shoes of Caitlin Clark. Go ahead, Victor.
I wanted to ask this question because we were talking about the toughness, the lack of toughness in like the NBA. Is this just an NBA thing, or does this trickle down to the college ranks?
This goes all the way down to the youth level of basketball in America.
Okay.
No, man, you'll back me up on this. How many times have I mentioned how much better European basketball is than American basketball right now? At least in terms of fundamentals.
Man, you said it on my show when we first
most of the best players in the NBA right now are European.
Absolutely. You've said that on my show since we first got together. When I used to do my show from Durham, North Carolina, at the Starbucks in Durham, and I would have you with me, and I have a crowd around me, and you said the best players in the NBA right now are European. Do you know how many people bristled at me for that statement?
I mean, we probably still have the best athletes on a basketball court, but that's far cry from a basketball player.
Dear God, yes. One more thing before we get out of here. We got a couple minutes left. And I am going to lob this up there for Jay. And I know he's going to hit this knuckleball out of the park. Why don't people that you and I both know, and Victor, you're in this as well, want us to talk about baseball on the air? Why?
I thought you were going to talk about the Cam Newton brawl last week.
Oh my God! I was wondering if someone's going to bring that up.
I digress.
It's Cam Newton. Who cares?
Well, here's the thing. At least that man showed he's strong. At least he can back behind stuff because, like, the fact that he took on, what was it, 4 or 5 people?
Seven
people. I'm like,
but he had that hat on. That was all important.
Yeah.
I have a simple sentence about that. You know why I didn't cover it? It's Cam Newton. Who cares?
Exactly. Scam Newton, as I call it.
It's Cam Newton, who's already pissed me off with some of his statements.
Cam Newton has it on gravity.
And you already know. Look, it's Scam Newton, who's already pissed me off with some of his statements, and y'all know the statements I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Why don't big time shows, and I use air quotes for big time shows, talk about baseball?
It defies logic to me. A network that even covers baseball like ESPN never talks about it on their talk shows. Never.
You don't even see Baseball Tonight anymore unless it's late at night.
Never.
Because to most people, they view baseball as like the boring sport.
Mm-hmm.
They look at every other sport as like an exciting sport, but they look at baseball as the boring sport.
I love baseball. And the rule changes they made last year made the game so much faster.
And so much more fun.
Oh, yeah.
And made a lot of strategy sessions.
Definitely.
They made a lot of strategy sessions.
They bring back the stolen base finally. And
Thank God.
hope we can get to the point where we see some more bunts like we used to. But
I mean, I want to see more fundamental baseball. Damn it!
I want to see. And I want to see analytics taken out of it on the field and out of the booth.
God, please.
Can we have that?
Can we have that,
Sunday night
please?
game on ESPN and all they talk about is analytics. I don't care. I want to know
no
what's
one
going
cares.
on the field.
I never gave two you-know-whats about analytics, and I never will. All right?
Analytics
has
ridiculous.
I'm going to say a sentence to help us close out. Analytics has ruined sports.
It really has.
Look at the NFL.
Every single well.
Oh, God.
It's poisoning every single well.
4th and 4, we're going to go for on our own 20-yard line because analytics says to.
Yeah.
No, you punt the ball.
Take a listen to this. Do y'all know that on Monday Night Football, they have a graphic now where on 4th down, you know where I'm going.
Yep, I've seen it.
That shows the percentage of going forward versus punting.
Yep. Who cares? That's not going to be for everybody.
Exactly.
That's not going to be for everybody. Every team is different. Some teams will go for it more often than they'll punt.
Why would you? I saw people go for it on their own 20 or 30-yard line. What are you doing?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
That's common sense. That's not analysis. That's common sense.
And it's not like a yard. I mean, we're talking about 4 or 5 yards here. They're going
right.
And they're doing it early in the first quarter.
Dan Campbell, hello.
Oh God!
Early in the first quarter, they're going for it on 4th and 20. Make that make sense.
Dan Campbell, hello.
Staley, thankfully he got fired.
Yep.
Staley.
And Ryan McCoffey asked me about my thoughts about Brandon Staley, and my thought is simple: he's under Kyle Shanahan now, and if he tries anything to ruin what they're building, Kyle Shanahan will put a foot in his ass and kick him out.
I don't know why I hired him to begin with.
I don't either. I was gonna say why. Why is he there?
Well, it just seems. It just seemed to happen. I hope he keeps his mouth shut. That's all.
He doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
I was going to say that too.
The press would press him in press conference, and he'd be like, "Well, I know my team better than anybody, and I'm going to keep doing things the way I want to do it." Well, how'd that work out? You got fired, dude.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You took an extremely talented team and put them in the crapper because you claim to know better than anybody else.
Oh, yeah. Dear me. Oh, Jay Spivey joining us here on the program as he does every single Monday. Man, I love you. Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us every Monday and being a part of the best sports show in the world. Thank you, partner. I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
One more trip through the Fanatic feedback zone where JJ says we're talking about sports shows. Our attention spans have changed, and it's so sad. Yes, it is, but it still takes time and still takes guts to have a show. I'll say it again. I was going to cancel this morning because I was so exhausted when I got started. When I sat in this chair, of course, I'm in a wheelchair right now temporarily, and I said, you know what? The hell with it. I'll start at 9 o'clock, and I think we're going to stay with 9 o'clock. I'm going to 9 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Central time, and welcome to WEIS in Chicago for housing this program. And thank you so very much to everyone that houses this program. And I got a big announcement coming after the draft. All right. I'll have another bronze sexual confession tomorrow. Also, 40,000 don't equal 4,000.
When is the draft?
April.
Are we're doing a watch party?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to complete the look, I'm probably going to be caffeinated that night, but we're doing the entire first round. Hell, we may do the entire damn draft.
I'm down for it.
We just may do the entire damn draft. All right? We just may do the entire damn draft, and I'm going to love every single minute of it. I can't wait. We got to get out of here. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you,
they're simply not big enough.
Stay hungry, stay humble. Listen, stay humble, be hungry, and always hustle. I love you guys. We're out of here. See you tomorrow. Tom Chambers versus LeBron James tomorrow in hour 3. See you then.